Hello and welcome to the Early Years Staff Meeting Podcast with Sarah, Keely and Steph, the place where you can listen, learn and laugh with us about all things early years.
Hello!
Hi!
We're back!
Yay!
We've been away for a little while, but yeah, we're back. And today's podcast, we are going to be giving our apologies, and our main agenda is going to be about home visits, as we've been doing a lot of those recently. And then we're going to move on to staff voice. We're going to talk about some of our experiences on home visits. And then after that, we're going to do a mindful moment and round off with any other business. So that is today's podcast.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! So let's start off by giving our apologies. Hey ladies, it's been a while, hasn't it?
It's been a few months. We've been a lot has happened since our last podcast.
It's been at least 2 months, hasn't it?
It was Corrie Bob's.
Corrie Bob's.
It was indeed.
And then we were all on a roll.
Yeah.
We were on a high at Corrie Bob's,
and then
we went quite downhill for us.
Something happened. We had the call.
We did have the call.
We did.
We did.
It all went well.
It kind of came and went though, didn't it?
It was an intense 48 hours that kind of zapped every last bit of
that we had to give.
Reserve.
We stayed late, didn't we?
Yeah.
Ridiculously late.
Early years stayed the latest, of course.
Of course.
Yeah,
Of course.
I must say up the school didn't stay as late as you guys.
I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it.
And that's not because we felt as though we weren't as good as but it's just there is so much to set up and to get in your head, to get clarity ready for the next day.
I think what was difficult was that because when they do these deep dives, you kind of have to showcase that subject then within early years, whereas we're a lot more organic than that, and things just come up when they come up and things are taught on the moment. But so we knew we were having a deep dive in RE, so we had to luckily we had produced some high quality planning for the podcast, so we actually used it.
We did actually use it. It saved us, didn't it?
Because we looked at the Corrie Bobs and traditional celebrations in England, and it's Ofsted approved. So we are Ofsted approved at the staff meeting.
Whilst I also went to a supermarket late at night and literally ransacked the seasonal section of all of their.
Know how much you spent
with all of their King Charles.
I mean, if it had Coronation on it, she bought it.
I did.
we had everything going on.
We did. Even the carrier bags with the Union Jack on at Lakeville. Yeah, I put all my resources in there, all my stuff. It was all themed. Union Jack.
I bet you really actually hated just slightly inside. It was all themed.
I did. And it's not really how we work in early years, is theming stuff, but it was Ofsted had asked to see it. So you kind of just have to go, okay, great. You just have to sort of play the game a little bit. Do. But we got through it.
But after that, we were just zapped. We just had nothing left to give, and we were just so busy.
There was just ISPs and EHCP meetings and subject leader stuff, reports, and it just snowballed from there. Then trying to get everything sort of finished off, ready for the end of term. It was beyond stressful. And
we'd also had a few technical problems, hadn't we?
Yeah, we had
a few.
So we've improved our setup somewhat. So we are now all recording together.
We are,
which is lovely.
In my little room, in the cupboard.
In our recording studio, which is the big art supply cupboard with a slightly wobbly table. With 3 microphones varying in price from £20 to the Stealth, which Keely is using, £350. So
thank you to the lovely family member that lent me the £350 microphone, which I went, £20 one would be fine.
You should give your brother a little shout out.
I should, shouldn't I? Shout out to my brother.
Thank
you very much for the lending of the crystal clear £350.
Keely comes to you in like surround sound.
Yeah.
Or, this is why.
That's why.
We sound all about.
I have the best microphone.
I've got the cheapest one. Okay, guys. If I sound rough, you'll know why. It's not because it's 8 o'clock in the morning.
It does look really funny though.
It does. It's rather phallic.
It really is.
You did take a photo, so perhaps we'll put
put
the little setup
Yeah.
on our
Even got
Instagram.
Steph written on the front of it. I mean, that says everything, doesn't it, really?
So we just like to send our apologies that we haven't done a pod for a while, but hopefully we're back.
Yes, we're back.
Bigger
We're
than ever.
Back and bigger than ever. We've
Literally.
got
The microphone.
We are going to change the format a little bit, so we are going to have more features to break it up to hopefully make it easier for you to listen to.
And a bit more staff meeting like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because this is a staff meeting, and it is actually physically a staff meeting
It is
now.
now.
We're all
Wow.
staff
Yes,
and we're
it is
meeting.
Yes.
The smallest staff meeting
In
the
the world.
smallest place I've ever attended, but
Yeah.
Get a Guinness World Record for this lady.
I know somebody online used to do their pod in their wardrobe with all their clothes on their head and everything.
Oh, okay,
beats
they win.
us.
Because they used to get the best sound apparently. But anyway, that's techie talk. We won't go into
Yeah.
that. Okay, so moving on to our first proper feature. Okay, our main agenda this week is home visits. Now, we have spent a lot of time doing home visits of late.
yeah.
You guys haven't you? Goodness
Yeah,
me.
but when you were in early years, you used to spend many years
many a
driving
year.
around town, didn't you?
Many a year. But they've all changed, haven't they? There's so many different ways that we've done it over the years, trying to find like the best way of doing the home visits. Do we go to them? Do we go to everybody? Because we have so many children from our nursery come in, which most schools do now, have a lot of people from nursery. Do you go and do home visits from them? Do you not? And then do you have them here? Do you have them going to their house? It really we've done it so many different ways.
We have, and it's what the core reason of having a home visit is getting that information about the family and about the children.
It's so
about
important.
bond making, isn't it? Making
It's
those
so
relationships.
valuable. I feel like when I've not done home visits, when I've worked in other year groups, it's harder to get those bonds with the families. Like it takes longer to build up that relationship. And I just think there's something quite intimate, isn't there, about inviting, a stranger into your home.
Yeah.
And so it just helps to just put the child at ease, but also to put the parents and carers at ease as well, I think.
And I think when parents let you into their house, you're signalling to the child that this person is trusted and it's okay. They're okay, because you wouldn't let somebody you didn't trust into your house, would you?
Yeah.
So subconsciously, that is what you're saying, and that does help, especially with the settling in process as well. So it is very valuable, and it is also a safe place for families if they've got things that are sensitive that they want to talk to you about. Then that is their safe place, and they can open up to you a lot more.
And it just allows you to get a sense of what that child's home life is like as well. So, it just helps to build that context of getting to know that child. You can sort of have a sneak peek into their world and what their interests are and what they're kind of getting from that home environment, and what support, they might need going forward as well. So, yeah.
So we have done it. So the cons of home visit is purely like logistics. It's really difficult to get staff out, especially when you have staff shortages or you have a lot of sickness, or you just don't have that much staff. And because of lone working, you can't go on your own. You have to have 2 people to go. That does it is quite challenging.
We have done it before, and I know other schools have done it where they do it in September. But it just depends if you've got a head teacher that would agree to that, because not all do.
No.
So the big news in the early years staff meeting is that I'm actually moving year groups.
I know.
next year, which which is a bit of a shocker. So I'm actually moving to nursery, which is good because it's going to give us some different
some different points of view.
I'm really looking forward to it once I've got over the initial surprise. That I was
Have you
moving
ever
to
worked
nursery.
in nursery before, Steph?
I have, but it was at a very different type of nursery. So this was I worked in an independent school in the nursery setting, which was called the kindergarten. So it wasn't like a nursery that we experience in, certainly what we experience in our school. It's very different. It's quite formal. This was a long time ago because I'm very, very old. So that's where I started my career, actually. So maybe this will be
So you're going to have to draw on that previous.
I don't know if I'll be drawing on that previous experience, to be honest. I'm just trying to, times have changed, I think, since then. So, but I'm obviously thrilled to just be staying in early years because we can get moved around as we are in a school. But looking forward to kind of making the nursery and the reception work together a bit more and just building more of a team this year. So going back to the home visits, the nursery children are actually doing their home visits in September.
Yeah.
So we've had that advantage of I haven't had to come out of class and leave my class who are all sort of, getting emotional at this time of year, behaviours ramping up. Yeah. Whereas unfortunately you have had to do that, Sarah, and it's been tough, hasn't it?
It has been
the last
tough.
couple of
like,
weeks.
my children have really found it difficult. And actually I found it difficult because you do feel guilty as a teacher leaving your class, that are struggling with your TAs, and then you're going out with your new TA to visit these people, but then how valuable all that information is, so you feel very torn.
You've got 60 children in your head at that point.
It's like having two classes.
60 children in your head trying to work it all out.
So another way of helping to reduce the amount of stress for everybody, adults and children, we did come up with an idea of actually those parents who are coming up to our from our nursery into reception. They've already had their home visit, so we invited them into school to have an extra chat, just have a little catch up if there was anything that had happened within that year in nursery that they wanted us to know, because things do change and things crop up for families in that year.
So how did you find that then?
Yeah.
I found that it was different. It was definitely different, and I do feel as though that perhaps some families didn't open up as much because they were in like a sterile environment for them.
Yeah.
But it did help with the fact that staffing, and it did help with my children because I wasn't that far away and staff could find me if I was needed. I could just pop in my head in after I'd done a visit and check and just keep checking in with those children that were really struggling or had issues. So selfishly, from my point of view, it did help me, but I don't know whether it helped the families as much.
To get all the information.
Because I feel as though some of the families didn't open up as much. Yeah. And even though we had their home visit forms from the data we collected from their home visits in nursery, it just didn't flow as well as it does when you go through the whole form.
Yeah, because you go in, they go, "Oh, do you want a cup of tea?" Or how are you? And you go and sit down on their sofa, as you said, like in their environment, in their.
And I think for the children as well, they've got their toys. They've got this is their safe place, so it's probably psychologically
and they
better
always
for
want
them.
to show you their bedroom or their toys, don't they, or their garden, and that is like a sense of pride for them. That was kind of lost. But it's pros and cons, isn't it? So when we do home visits, we do have a questionnaire, don't we, with lots of questions that's asking the parents about their pregnancy, their birth. So it starts right from the very beginning. We ask if there's any changes that may have affected their family, and that is trying to assess whether there's been like any loss or moving, trauma, basically, isn't it? And actually, sometimes that trauma does sort of creep into the children's school life, doesn't it? So that is a really important question. But also things about their development, and about
their speech, their hearing,
all that kind of thing.
if they've got reoccurring illnesses.
Yeah,
We ask
because that
about
has
for
a huge
ears, glue ear.
also.
Makes such a big difference
It
at
does.
this age.
And then we also ask about what the children's likes and interests are,
Yeah.
and if they've got any special friends, so that we know if there's anybody coming, into the setting, if they're new to the setting, that they already play with, and just having that insight into what they like to do will sort of inform our provision, ideally, wouldn't it? So if you've got a lot of children that like one particular thing, you could have that out as a, to entice them.
And a question that we added over the years was the one about dyslexia. I'm going to add that in because that's my thing at the minute. So, asking about dyslexia, because it is hereditary and that does make a difference. We have had quite a few children who are like, oh, okay, they've got that in their family. We'll keep an eye and we'll make sure that they're okay. And that means that we've been able to then pass that on to the year 1 and year 2.
Interestingly, I did flick back through some of mine. Because for some of the children that perhaps didn't get reading, I did look back, and a couple of those, they did have like mums and dads who had dyslexia. And I thought, I wonder if there is a real correlation. I'd be interested to see if later on down the line.
I have seen, because some of the children that I've obviously done, taught in the past.
That's what you do now, isn't it?
And now I've gone up and seen a lot of those children that I'm working with now, and actually I thought, oh, wait a minute, I'm sure we had that on the home visit, that there was someone in the family, and it's just like, oh, okay, and it has meant that those children are getting support when they need it.
And they don't
just being left.
And that's the thing, they don't, and they can't get tested, can they, till they're later?
No, they can't. And that's the thing, or they're being told to go elsewhere and be tested privately, which is getting on for £300, if not more.
So home visits are incredibly valuable, and also if parents decline a home visit, that does kind of make you think, oh, there are reasons why. And actually, if they do decline a home visit or decline to come in, I've done a lot of telephone calls, and that might just be they've declined because of pure work commitments, and we get that. We have a lot of working parents.
Or also sometimes I think parents can be anxious of school, parents and carers. So it's that, if they've had if they've had a bad experience maybe at school, they look at teachers as, an authority figure or something. So it just might be that they are not comfortable with that, and you've kind of got to find another way to build that trust. And that might just be like inviting them in. I know when I joined this school, it was during COVID, and we had to do our home visits outside. So that was another way of doing it. It was garden. So that was luckily we had nice weather that we were doing.
That was still really beneficial, though.
You
got everything you kind of needed
in the
from
garden. There was still really, like as you said, the children would go out in the garden maybe anyway to show you stuff, and they'd just go and get their stuff and bring it outside. That was still really beneficial.
And actually, then the last year was that really hot week, wasn't it? When do you remember when and we had to go out and do it in the blazing sun, so we ended up in the garden quite a lot of the time anyway.
And I ended up on a few doorsteps where parents had forgotten their home visits, and they were reluctant to let me in because I think they were worried about their houses. So I in that absolute blazing heat, I was getting my questionnaire out, sweating. And that's just how much we value home visits. So we're by hook or by crook.
The information is so important.
It is. It's so valuable. Okay. Right then, should we move on to our next feature, ladies?
Yeah,
let's go.
Are you ready? Okay, so this is Staff Voice. This is an opportunity for us to voice our experiences and anecdotes about, and this week, because we're doing home visits, we have accrued a lot of home visit debacles.
Well, funnily enough, I think both of you have done home visits for me, for my children.
Yes.
I think you both have.
Yeah, we have.
Yes, we have.
So I have a little confession, because when Sarah taught my eldest child, and that was before I worked at this school, and of course being a teacher, I obviously on my best behaviour, so I think I'd like set up this role play in the living room, like clean the house from top to bottom, got out this role play, you know, and just turn YouTube off for once, or see BBs probably in those days, just get out the nice wholesome equipment, and then probably like with child 2, Keely, she was probably just...
child 2 wasn't quite, no. It was just like, oh yeah, come in. Okay.
Just come in. She's watching TV.
Yeah.
No,
she wasn't.
I turned it off.
But your setup wasn't quite there yet.
Yeah.
But I remember, Steph, you sitting on the floor, and when I came in, you were like, oh, hello. And your eldest was on the floor with you, and it was like this lovely little twee set up on the floor. And I do remember saying to my TA at the time, "Oh, you can tell she's a teacher."
Yeah.
Fake it till you make it.
I was like, this one's going to be fine. Okay, so my little anecdote actually happened this set of home visits.
Oh.
I know. So this is a very recent one, and I did get approval from my TA to tell this story. But I've got a new car, which I'm very proud of. It's a brand new car, and I've never had a brand new car before. But anyway, that's by the by. I said to my TA, come with me. You've not sat in my new car yet. She goes, oh no, I'm really looking forward to it. So off we popped out of the car park, and we were trundling through. And I got into my car, into my passenger seat, and I sat and I rearranged my bag so that my TA could sit next to me. And then she didn't appear. And I thought, oh my goodness, where is she? She waiting for me to back out. Can she not get in? And I had a little lean over, couldn't see that there was she couldn't get in. And then I looked 360 around my car, and I couldn't actually see her. I thought, where is she? And then I suddenly thought, oh my gosh, has she fallen over? Oh my God, I just felt this panic. So I opened my car door a little bit and got out half. And I looked around and I still couldn't see her. And I thought, oh, what earth has happened to her? I sat back in my car and got my phone out to call her. And as I glanced in my window, I could see her sitting in someone else's car. And we locked eyes at each other, and we literally both pointed at each other and went, what are you doing? Get in the car. And I went, no, this is my car. Get in my car. And she looked around, and suddenly you could just see the panic that she had gotten in someone else's car. She literally shut the door. She came running around and got into my car. And she was like, oh my gosh, they're going to think that I was trying to steal the car. And I was like, how did you get in the car? Like, surely the car would have been locked. I said, did it open? And she was like, no, I pulled the car door and it opened. And then as we both looked up, the camera,
the CCTV
was up. And we're like, oh my gosh, this is all on CCTV. We just absolutely burst out laughing. And when we got back to school and we came clean and we told the office staff, they looked up the number plate, and guess whose car it was?
Not the head teacher.
It was Keely's.
So Keely, you don't lock your car.
But the thing was, she went, I'm so sorry, I got in your car. I went, it's really not an issue, don't worry. She went, why was it open? I went, it's me. You know I forget stuff, including locking my car. And then she went, didn't you notice your stuff was moved? I went, no, it's so messy in there.
Do you know what
How
she
would
was
I
more
even know
worried
that it
about?
moved?
She was, because she watches CSI. She was more worried that her fingerprints were all over your car. I did tell her she needs to cut back on the CSI. She's so funny.
It was so funny. She was like devastated, bless her. I was like, please don't worry.
She
went, lock your car next time. I went, I will, I promise.
Right, go then, Keely. It's your confessional. Go on then.
Okay, well, the one that I could remember wasn't actually happened to me, because we kind of have, I know this sounds a bit mean, but we kind of like have a competition to see who has like the best one, like like
the
what's
best anecdote.
Yeah,
we have a home visit off.
Can be really nice, can be like crazy, just depends. But one that I can remember, give her a tap. Oh. Okay.
Edit that bit
A
out.
friend of ours, a couple of years ago, quite a few years ago, she went into a house and she came back. She went, "Oh, that's it. She said, I'm done. I can't do anymore." And we went, "Why?" She said, "You know, I love dogs. I really do." She went in and this dog was really, the lovely people said, "Are you okay with dogs?" Yeah, I'm fine with dogs.
She had a little Jack Russell, didn't she? I remember it was her pride and joy.
Stood in to think, and she didn't realise this dog was as big as her, and it jumped on her paws.
It was an Irish wolfhound, wasn't it? Yeah.
Either side of her shoulders, and it almost tipped her over. She tried to keep her balance because she thought, "What if I fell over with this dog on top of me in front of these new people?" And this dog was just standing there, like hugging her as she came in, and that was it. She was part of the family with the dog, bless her. But yeah,
and then the dog was actually poorly.
Yes.
So the mum was so worried about this dog. She was like, "Oh, is it okay if it stays?" And so I think she was reluctant, but she said yes. And then as the home visit went on, the children were getting more noisier and noisier.
Yes.
And the dog was getting even more excitable, and it was supposed to be poorly. But the mum shut the children out in the garden and left the dog in instead of the opposite way around. Because the dog is clearly more important to her than the children.
It was a red flag.
It was a red flag.
Oh, bless her. But just the way she came back, she was slightly traumatised.
Oh,
but at the same time, we just couldn't stop laughing.
We do encounter a lot of dogs, don't we?
We do.
Yeah, dogs, cats, rabbits.
We do love an animal, but yeah.
I had a dog push my TA through the sofa.
Oh.
Then the dog had chewed a hole in the sofa.
Yeah.
The mum had put a cover over it to hide
she
it.
Went through it.
She stood up, the dog leapt at her and pushed her through the sofa, and I had to help her out. So with her legs kicking.
Oh,
So I mean, dogs bring a whole new level
Oh, they
really
to
do.
the.
I'm okay with dogs, but I'm not a dog person. I'm more of a cat person. But you do encounter a lot of dogs.
Yes.
Sniffing you.
Yeah, licking your toes, licking your sandals.
And then, of course, you're on your best behaviour, so you're very patient and lovely. My funny story isn't mine. It belongs to my sister, but she went on a home visit, and she turned up at the person's. I think they lived in a flat, and they were English was not their first language, so there was a little bit of a language barrier. So she said, "Hello, I'm so and so's from the school," and showed her like badge and everything, and they said, "Come on in," and she was going through the. Oh, she said, "Where's the name of the child?" And they said, "Oh, they're at school." So she was thinking, "Oh, that's really annoying. They've sent them into nursery when they're supposed to be here for the home visit." But never mind, she was going through all her questions. And then it turns out that the people that she was meant to be interviewing had recently moved out, and it was a new family. and the child they were talking about was an 11-year-old boy that was in high school, but they just got the communication error. So she'd done a home visit on for a teenager. So I wonder why. Are they potty trained? Yes. Have they met all their developmental milestones for speech and language at the moment? And it's
we hardly speak at the moment.
Yeah.
Just grunts. Oh, that's a concern.
So that's a little funny story.
Okay, well, that's our staff voice over for this week, and there'll be more staff voices coming up in future episodes. So yeah. Okay, moving on.
Moving on to our Zen mindful moment. And this week, I'd like to talk about rage.
Yeah. Rage.
Feel the rage.
Feel the rage. Rage against the machine.
Yeah.
Because, yes, it's perfectly normal to feel rage. And I've been listening to a few podcasts about maternal rage and motherhood rage, and it just sort of resonates with me that sometimes, not at school, because I think you hold it in at school, don't you? But
you mask.
Yeah. You do. You mask it all day, and then you get home, and the smallest little thing will tip you over the edge. Like, the washing up still on the side when your partner works from home, or
the shoes are out on the floor when you've bought a really expensive shoe thing for them to put their shoes into, and they're still on the floor. This is not the children, this is the husband.
Oh, well, my husband, I've put hooks up on the wall so he can hang his trousers that he might wear the next day.
Yeah, well, that's really good.
He just still leaves them on the floor. The hook is right above.
So the rage is real.
Husband rage.
The rage is real, and I feel like at this time of year when things are very, tense and fraught at work because we're just trying to frantically tidy up all those loose ends, it becomes overwhelming. So on a podcast I listened to, they said a few tips of how to get rid of your rage. So when you are feeling rage, it's like fight or flight. Your body goes into fight or flight, and it's the fight, isn't it? The rage is the fight. So what your body is telling you to do is your body is preparing itself to do something physical. So if you do something physical, that can help to get rid of the rage. So the suggestion was just run on the spot for 10 seconds, or just go and do some star jumps. Or if you can't physically move, you can just shake your hands and then it just gives your body something physical to do. Then your body can use up all the adrenaline and all the other hormones to help you calm down. But you've heard of something new, haven't you, Kaylee?
I think Virgin Experiences are getting onto this bandwagon that there's rage amongst us all, and have now you've got the escape rooms. There's now a rage room where literally there is old TVs and old stuff just around, and they give you a sledgehammer or it was a sledgehammer, and you can just go round. You have safety stuff on, by the way. It's all safe and everything. You have the goggles and all of that and face masks and stuff, and you go in and you just go and bash all this thing and let your rage out. Almost bought it for my mum for her 60th birthday, thinking, wow, she'd love that.
It reminds me of that film Hostel. Which is have you seen it?
I've only seen part of it. I couldn't watch it.
So
it was
the premise of it is
my delicate mind.
It's basically a bit like a rage room, but with a person in there.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's not a very nice.
I know Virgin Experiences aren't going that far. It's just old TVs you let your rage out on.
Yeah, it just reminds me a little bit of that. I don't know how comfortable I feel about that. But, yeah,
the person was doing it looked quite happy.
I think some of our children, when they feel rage, and that's why they behave they do in classrooms, and we see this, people are calling it a pandemic of rage in children. So that clearly is an outlet.
Yeah, but we could try that with the children as well. I tried it with my daughter the other day. Just showed her, just do this. And then it makes you laugh as well because you're being really silly, and then that can diffuse it. Yeah. So get rid of your rage in a safe way.
Yeah.
Also, exercise is another way, isn't it? A lot of people go to the gym and they run. A lot of people get addicted to running.
Yeah.
Which I can't imagine
I
doing.
No, me neither.
I really need to get back into running, but I've been saying that for about 5 years now. But maybe this summer, girls. Maybe this will be the one. Right.
Okay. Any other business? Okay. Our only other business for this week is just our call to arms, really, is to check out our Instagram page. At the moment, we've posted some tips on, how to stay sane in this last week, about how to stay calm, get the children to stay calm, and about your provision. So check out our Instagram. We're now on Threads, ladies.
Wow. That's one step too far for me. Keely, I can imagine it's too much of a leap
on the social scene.
Yeah, I am real noob. How long it took me
for the Instagram. She likes pigeon posts. She likes good old-fashioned pen and pencil.
Yeah, now the Instagram pops up at me, and I'm a bit like, what is that? And I go onto it, and I'm like, oh, okay. But I'm still just only I haven't gone very far. I really do need to do a bit more.
Well, we've only just started on Threads. I think there's this feeling that people don't really understand what it is.
It's a bit like It's a bit like Twitter.
I think it's a bit like Twitter, but without all the trolls and the hate.
Well, see how long that lasts.
See how long that lasts. But yeah, we're on Threads, so check us out, the earlier staff meeting. And yeah, we've got a Facebook page. I think for this episode, because we're trying out a new format, when we post it to all of the podcast outlets, I'm going to add, there's like a questionnaire that you can add, and we can get people to sign up and see how they think our new format's gone. We'd love
your constructive feedback.
Yes, please be kind though.
Yeah,
what worked well, and even better ifs.
Yeah, exactly.
And if my microphone sounds really good,
if you can tell,
great.
You know,
who
had the £25 microphone and who had the
£350 one.
But yeah, we're
that's us done for today.
we're going to go from one staff meeting to another now.
Yeah, we have.
Literally.
Yeah, we have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not.
So, you're not.
Okay.
Right.
But
okay. Right.
thanks,
Well, we'll see you all next time.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Have a wonderful summer.
Yeah, and you.
Bye.
Bye.